everyone. This is Margie Santos, and welcome to another episode of the Founder Circle. And today we have a very special guest with us. We have Araceli Villanueva. How you doing, Araceli?
I'm doing great, thank you.
We're so happy to have you on. Here at the RNHA Founder Circle, we love to highlight Hispanic businesses and Hispanic leaders. And, you were definitely one of the candidates that we just wanted to interview you and just find out more about you. I wanted to do a one-on-one with you to just, find out who you are and where you came from and what inspired you, because you're doing so many great things in the community. We're just so proud of you. So Araceli, I'm going to give you the stage, and I just want you to tell us who is Araceli and where do you come from and all of that great information.
Thank you. My name is Araceli Villanueva. I come from Mexico City. I was born there, but I have been most of my life in the U.S., and I'm a proud American citizen. So I combine my two countries and my heritage, my Hispanic heritage, with my American, culture also. And I have a son who is the love of my life, Joshua. And I have started with him to teach his new generation of combining his Mexican heritage with his American, culture. So it's that's the beginning of who I am.
Nice. And so, were you born here or were you born there?
In Mexico City. Mexico City.
Okay, great. And so, how long have you been here in the States?
I moved to the U.S. 28 years ago, so that's how I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, okay.
I've been here ever since. I started with, a few jobs, but when I was 21, I bought my first property, and I learned, the mortgage business and the just in general investing, and I loved it. So I became a loan officer, then a processor, then an underwriter. Then I also became a realtor, and so I started buying properties. And then I moved to Miami 20 years ago, and I continued to do that. But I then moved on to being the rep of a huge bank, and I was one of the top producers for about 7 years. Okay. So that was a great accomplishment. I retired for 5 years in the down crash in 2008. Mm-hmm. And I came back to business in 2013. I started with mortgages and real estate, more in the retail side, because before I was in the wholesale and just investor as investing myself. And then now I help investors, and I help my same clients to do the mortgage loan. So I am a one-stop shop for investors that want to buy.
I love that.
And do their mortgage and then and search for the real estate. So I have a vast experience in that area.
That is great. I love to hear these stories. I love to hear how you came from, another country, and then you came here, you found the American dream, right? The American dream of buying your first home and just being successful.
I can tell you that the American dream is alive and is beautiful. I came with $300, and less than 2 years in the United States, I was the owner of my first property. I was barely 21. Wow. And so I have been always a planner. So I plan my life, my future. I do all the gurus of the day now. I used to be that before this was even like a thing. I have been planning and writing down my future since then. And so I have I have another company that I do different services. Would you like me to talk about that?
Yes, I would love to talk. Is this the AVL Consultant?
Yes.
Yes, so I would really love to learn about that.
That's my baby. Okay, so AVL Consultants is my name. AVL, it's my first and last initial, and L is Leon, my second last name.
Okay.
And to my mom, so it's AVL. And what I do is I have two sections of the company. In one, I help investors and people from other countries that want to come and move to the U.S. So I help them with all their services from coordinating their visa if they want to move, or just, you know, helping them with the investment, either real estate or business. I do the loan as well. So I advise them, I take care of their company. So I manage that part of the business with investors. And then I have another section with celebrities. I'm a celebrity business manager. And so what I do is I take care of all the finances, from paying their personal and business bills, to, you know, kind of give them like all kind of advice throughout their entire finance spectrum. Because I forgot to say, I also was a life insurance agent for New York Life. Okay. So I have experience in all this
finance.
And so it's actually, I think it's my calling. I always wanted to be a teacher since I was little, a kindergarten teacher, but that didn't happen. But I did have a couple of schools. I had a driving school, that was my first business. Then I had a dance school, because I also like to dance. And now I think that I am a teacher of sorts with my clients. You know, I am doing exactly the same thing. So
wow, you know what, Araceli, really impressive. Yeah, this is great, because you know, you started at such a young age, at the age of 21, and you just had so many businesses and all this experience, and it's just amazing to me. You know, it's very impressive. You know, your history, your line of work, and you really are a great role model to all the women out there, even the younger women, you know, that are growing up, and they see someone like you and they get inspired. So it's so important to have women like you in the community. And not only are you a businesswoman, but you are someone who is very involved in the community, right? So you are the chairwoman for Miami, and you're also the National Catholic Outreach Director for the RNHA. So tell us more about that.
Well, I started getting engaged in politics and the community when my son started growing, and in the 2016 elections, he was actually in a debate in his school, and they asked him to, you know, find out everything about the candidates and then expose, you know, what they thought. So he found out, you know, who Hillary was and who Donald Trump was. And at the time, I was very emotional, as many Mexicans, because, you know, Donald Trump had made some remarks at the time about Mexicans, and we took it as an offense that every Mexican, right? Which honestly, it didn't apply to me, because none of the things that he said was to me. So I know that, and I know we cannot say that Mexicans don't have, you know, the kind of people that he mentioned. So to make a long story short, my son got me interested in finding out more, because he knew more than I knew at the time. So I had to start catching up to him, you know, to have a conversation. And it was very interesting that my son, he grew up with my values in a Catholic school ever since he was little, with Catholic values, practicing our faith the way, you know, Catholics do. And so his views were conservative. So by the time politics came into his life, he was a conservative. Naturally, he did not have to choose a Democrat or a Republican. He was just a conservative. So he right away, which is all of us, all of Hispanics are naturally conservatives. Nobody has to tell us that we are. But, you know, we end up believing the mainstream media and the Democrats, which have a lot of ways to steer people away from their, you know, conservative values. And that's what got me involved, because I saw the manipulation, and I didn't want to have my son live in a country and in a political world where, you know, the majority of the conservatives were just silent, as they had been for many years. So I thought, you know, we're Latinos, we are outspoken, we don't, we don't care, because not that we don't care, but we don't like oppression, because we come from countries, at least, you know, Mexico has always been under a tyranny of sorts, even though it's supposed to be a democracy. But we had a tyrant party that was in in Mexico for 80 years. So it was just a different person, but it was the same, you know. So once you come to this country from a socialist or communist, like many other Hispanics, their countries are very much communist. You can't shut up, when you see that this is happening in the US. So I became very passionate to get involved in local politics in Miami. I got involved with the RNHA. I became the chairwoman. We were very active until the pandemic happened. And we're trying now to do it virtually as everyone else. But it's very exciting, and since everybody knows that I'm very Catholic,
yes. And just so before I forget, I just want to give a shout out to our chairman, Santiago Avila. So just want to give a shout out to him.
Santiago, how are you?
Yes,
he's the man.
Yes, he's doing great things. Yes,
he's the one that has done everything in Florida. So I have a lot of respect for Santiago. This is like his child as well. He's all in it.
Yeah, and what I really like about him is his passion for the people. He wants to see people grow. He'll put you in a position and he'll push you in that position to see you grow. I love that about him, and he's gonna go very far.
Yes. Exactly.
So you're involved in the community. So what else are you doing in the community?
So I am also the National Catholic Outreach Director with the RNHA. So, it's a little difficult. I found out once I became the chairwoman and the Catholic Outreach Director to, first in Miami, it's a very blue city. You would think that it was very conservative because it's a lot of Cubans here. But unfortunately, the majority of the Cubans, the younger generation, are very socialist mindset. And so I didn't know that until I started trying to get involved here. And so it's a smaller community of Republicans or conservatives than the opposite.
So you have a lot of work to do.
There's a lot of work to do over here. It's a challenge, and at the same time, it was scary because, this was news to me. So you have to figure out an agenda of how to reach out and how to find the other Republicans. There's a lot of clubs that are Republican, and there's from all kind of generations, but especially in the older generation, they are, but we need to renew them, with children like my son, because they are the ones that are gonna continue. And we need to do that. So it's a big process and challenging. Right now, obviously, we started last year to do voting registration, trying to get as many people as we could from churches or events in the that the Republicans did, or just go into the street and register people. The pandemic happened, so it hasn't been possible to do it again. I got passionate about voting registration because to me is the key to change or to not change, to protect what we already have. We have a constitution that we cannot allow to be touched by any liberal in any way. And so voting is our way to do it. Right now we see so many things that they are doing in, protesting, rioting, almost terrorist type of events that they're doing across the country. And really, if you think about it, it's only in the Democrat states and cities. So it's very clear where we are. We are in a very difficult election year. And so we have to just
we have to get out there and vote. We have to be the voice, right? There's a lot of people that are just silent. Like they don't want to vote. They don't want to, express their opinion, for whatever reason. But it's very important that we have a vote, that we express, what it is that we want, with the change that we want to see, right?
Well, there's a thing that I want to comment on top of that. The local elections are more important than the presidential election. For example, Miami people, or for any city that has their own, because our local mayor and the commissioners are our local president and our local Congress. So when they are liberal, all of our benefits or lack of them are immediately felt, because they can raise your taxes, they can start doing mandates like we see left and right, trying to take all of our rights. And so a president takes a couple years to have an impact in all of the states. But a mayor and a commissioner or a governor, they have immediate impact. So it's very important that this year in August 18, for example, in Miami, we need to get out and vote all across the board for Republicans. And if there's a few Republicans, study them and see who is the most conservative, because there's also some Renos that are running, as Republicans, but they're not really, they're not for
time to do our homeworks. Yeah, we have to research who everybody
They have to have certain values.
Yes.
Yes, the values that Christians hold dear, that are non-negotiable, are pro-life, pro-school choice, because we want to be able to educate our kids the way we want, not the government.
Yes.
Pro Second Amendment, because we know that we have to protect ourselves. The government is not there to protect us, or the police. We are there to, the Constitution is there to protect us from big government. So there's basic rights that we have to defend. Religious freedom. Look how we're being attacked right now. We have to vote for Catholics and Christians, but only for Christians or Catholic, conservative, Republicans, because they're the only ones that are gonna do what we need them to do. It's like they have to be my voice. I am a conservative Catholic. What am I gonna do voting for a liberal that has nothing to do with my life, that is gonna affect every decision for my son's life and his kids and my older years? I don't want somebody that has nothing to do with my personality, my culture, my views, to be my representative. So people have to start picking up and just go directly to your values and vote your values, vote your faith. Your faith is the most important.
Vote your values, that's right.
And so that's what I've been promoting since last year. Vote your values, vote your faith, and that's the way to go. If you are in doubt, vote your values. And you don't know the candidate, just look at his values, and if they match with yours, that's your candidate.
Yes, and it's our responsibility to get this word out, about voting our values. We have it's less than a month away, right? So we have a lot of people to talk to. We gotta go knock on those doors. We really just gotta get the word out about that, voting our values. That's very important. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
And I just have one more question for you, Araceli. I'm a businesswoman as well, and I really feel that it's important for women like us to just be that role model for the younger generation, for the women that are growing up and they're watching us. And I really feel that's important, to be that role model. There's not a lot of women out there that are doing what we're doing. And so tell me, from your point of view, why do you think it's important to be that role model for women, Hispanic women, all kinds of women?
Well, I never considered myself a role model or wanted to be one. It happens with your success and life that you become a role model, and that you have to become a role model, because our choices and our example are going to affect the people that are around you, and the ones that are looking up at you for inspiration. My own son was my force to be a role model. Since I had him, I became very conscious about everything that I did, what I said, what I exposed him to. I tried to shield him from the negative world of the Democrats for a very long time, because I wanted him to be nurtured with love, with conservative values, with God in his life. And once he grew up a little bit, then bring him out and realize, okay, not everything is perfect, but you are going to become a warrior. You have to be one leader in the future that is going to be the voice of those that don't have a voice, like the kids that are being aborted in abortion, the ones that are being sex trafficked. So you become a role model as you grow and become conscious, especially when you're a mom. I don't know if you're a mom, but I am. Yeah. So that's when I started to be very aware about everything that I did.
Being an example.
That's where we start. Look, I think that the first thing that we have to do is remember that we are role models in our own homes with our children, with our family members, and
That's
with
our
our
first
friends.
ministry.
That is the first step. Then, when the people in the world see you because you have a business that deals with the public or deals with other people, and you can inspire them, then that's a bonus. That's a bonus. But I think it's just, instead of looking at ourselves as role models, like somebody that it has a special place, everyone should be a role model as they grow and they become the inspiration for other people, especially their children or their nieces. Some people don't have kids, but they have little kids that are looking up to them. And so we have to be very conscious and be the leaders that we want them to be.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. So, Araceli, we have to wrap it up, but I wanted to so you to tell everyone, how can people contact you?
Well, my website is the easiest way. Yes, I have a few Instagram accounts, so that's gonna get complicated. But the website avlconsultants.com is the easiest way. There's a contact information there, my phone number, my email, and also my Instagram and Facebook links. They're there, and that's pretty much the best way to reach out to me. And obviously, if they want to talk to me about politics or help me out with Miami and trying to get people to vote red and conservative, then you can reach out to me with the RNHA Florida website. I'm there, and my information is there also on the social media, and my email for the RNHA is also there. So
Okay, and the website for the RNHA for FL.org for those who want to contact you there.
Yes, Araceli FL. Araceli at RNHA FL.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your history and your life and your businesses. Thank you so much, and we want to just thank you for being un orgullo hispano. Gracias.
Ay, gracias. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.